KGB. I share this story not to brag about this moment. So I walked on the University of Oklahoma, and I'm just competing to play. I'm just competing. I just want a locker. See, I was so talented. You know what they gave me on day one? Did you think they gave me a fancy uniform and a locker and a number? No, they gave me a gray t-shirt and a gray pair of shorts and shoes that didn't fit because they didn't think we'd make it past day 5. But I was too dumb to quit. But the hand story is important so you guys can kind of see my thumb looks different. Like my daughter noticed the clip that was in the trailer before I did because my thumb is so distorted. So our first day of spring ball, after walking on, sorry, I gotta use 2 hands. Get excited, right? My story went from depression to delusional walking on after doing the events of breaking my neck. And on the first day of spring ball, after getting a locker and a jersey, I break my hand. But I practiced the rest of the day because I'm delusional. I don't want to tell anyone. I go in to see the trainer and he's like, that doesn't look good. But I'm no one. I mean, by me, no one. Remember, I've got no number, no name. But I called the doctor that took care of me when I broke my neck. We had become friends. And I said, Doc, I'm telling you, my hand is killing me. He said, well, come to my clinic and I'll take a look at it. I showed up in his clinic. My thumb was broken in a couple places. He put me in a cast. And then I showed up at practice at 3 o'clock. You know what God showed up and did that day? You guys, any guesses? 37 footballs thrown to me, 0 drops. With a club on from here to here. Now, you would say, well, that sounds just, you were maybe you had good hands. And there was a couple footballs I caught, I'm not sure I saw. But you know why I stood out? The cast. Right? Had nothing to do with my DNA. I'm about as average as you get. 6 foot, I was 180 pounds then, ran average. But God had something excellent set aside for me, but he needed someone to notice. No one was gonna notice average, but coach pulls me aside afterwards. A coach that had been coaching a long time. Anybody ever read the book that's forever old called Friday Night Lights? I got coached at a guy at OU that was a part of the Odessa Permian. It's an old book, it was a movie series. He came up to me and he said, son, I've never seen anything. He said, what do you even go out to practice? I said, coach, I don't have anywhere else to be. This is all I got. He's like, I've never seen anything like that. And I said, well, we can have excuses, is what I was told by my high school coach, or we could show up and try. That day, he granted me something, and we called it the exhaustion rule, or fatigue. How many of you guys, when you're doing your sport, when you get done with a sprint, you're like this? How many? Right, and what do your coaches yell at you? What's your coach yell? Get up, stand up, right? Here's what I'm gonna tell you. God doesn't care about your posture. So that day, coach blessed me. He'd watched me train for a year, and he said, Todd, you're the only kid that I've ever watched get down like this. What are you doing? You're supposed to breathe better, all this junk. And I said, I'm just thanking God for the ability to walk, and I'm exhausted. Because the one thing I was great at was exhausting myself for something that I love. Right? Can you imagine if we applied ourselves to something of the kingdom? Something of value, to a friend that's not here tonight, for someone that's in darkness? Let me tell you a little sidebar about the kid that would show up. You know what he does with his life for the last 20 years? See, we're old. I'm 48. He's 42. He's worked at an inner city Christian mission, feeding the homeless. See, God was preparing him all along for his journey to show up for people in their darkest moment. I don't care what you have to do to catch your breath, and God doesn't care about your posture. I'll tell you another sidebar. You guys bored yet? No? Everybody bored? Okay. I had the privilege to do something crazy last year, do a TEDx. One of the kids saw it, and he asked me a great question. Coach, but if you had gone through this injury and you walked on the University of Oklahoma, why'd you leave? Anybody have any good reason? Playing time, right? Got anything good? Come on, leaders, what's a good one? Why would I leave a childhood dream? Since I was 3 years old, I had pajamas with feet in them and would slide down my parents' hallway and think I was scoring for the University of Oklahoma. And now I've showed up and not only walked on, I've earned a scholarship. I'm playing in the Texas game. You know, they're going out, it's crazy, and I'm playing in that moment, and I want to leave. Why would I do that? Say it louder.
You thought God was calling you for something else?
I knew he was. I had never had so much peace over a crazy decision. I sat in the stadium for weeks after that season was over. So I redshirted, played 2, and then I'm sitting in the bleachers and I'm realizing I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So another delusional idea, call my dad, first kid to go to college. Now I've got a full ride paid for. And you know what I tell him? Dad, I'm leaving. You know what his advice was? Got any good ones? Stay. What else? You know what my dad said? Don't come home. If you leave, don't come home. I mean, it was crazy, right? So I drove to all these Division II schools and begged them to play. I begged them. 0 told me I couldn't. So I had to go back to the school that I had left and ask a defensive coach to call in a favor. He had told me when I left, he dropped a note, Chris Thurman, said, if you come up empty, you come find me. Well, I went and found him. Crazy. I remember walking into his office on this school that I thought I'd never be back at, going, Coach, I came up empty, can you help me? He called Chuck Bailey at UCO. I'm one of 62 guys to be on the all-regional team. I could care less about my stats. Do you know why I was on the all-regional team? My teammate across from me. See, I played across from a guy by the name of Alton Lusk. I caught school record balls and touchdowns, and he made sure I never got double teamed. How great is it to have a teammate in your life that sacrifices himself for your success? It's pretty cool, right? What's great about people like that is here I am at 48 years old, and a few years back I went through a lot of life tragedies. Divorce, my dad's death, buried a dog, tried not to become a country song, all in one moment, okay? You know who called me? Alton. Hey, I saw you post about your dad. Do I need to show up for you? Just that. Miles and hundreds of miles away. Do I need to show up for you? Because see, he showed up for me for 2 years. True story. Running his